The radiator's hum usually lulls me to sleep. But that night, its absence woke me. I lay there listening to the hollow clank of pipes cooling. The red numbers on the clock read 3004 a.m. I didn't check again until sunlight bled through the blinds. Still 3004. My fingers found the flashlight on the nightstand. The beam caught dust suspended midair, unmoving. No draft from the cracked window. Even the perpetual drip from the kitchen faucet had stopped. The hallway mirror showed only the wall behind me. Bare feet on hardwood, too warm for this time of year. I told myself not to notice how my breath didn't fog in the November chill. Something balanced on the edge of the sink, my spare key, which I keep taped beneath the mailbox. It gleamed wet. The back door swung open when I tested it, hinges silent. My herb garden sprawled intact beneath the security light's amber glow. Except the rosemary. The grass beneath my feet crackled, brittle with frost that hadn't been there moments ago. Inside, the faucet began dripping again. Slower. Each drop hit the sink with the resonance of a struck bell. When I turned, the hallway mirror held my reflection this time. But I was still outside. The reflection didn't blink. Didn't shiver, though cold needled my skin raw. I stepped closer, and it mimicked me. A half-second delay, joints stiff, like a puppet adjusting its strings. Through the window, my kitchen fluorescence flickered on. The shadow slouched at the table wore my face, shoulders slumped, head tilted toward the hallway, waiting. Wind cut through the yard, brittle rosemary stems rattling like bones in a cup. When the security light buzzed back on, the herb garden was whole again, rosemary lush, dew beaded. Frost crawled up my ankles, searing where it touched. I pressed a hand to the window. A smudge blossomed on the glass, heat meeting cold. Not a fingerprint, a word, bleeding downward, almost. The lights cut. Something shuffled closer in the dark behind the glass. Breathing synced with mine, inhales staggered, ragged. Too close. Not close enough. The backyard gate swung open into an alley I didn't recognize, walls too narrow, pavement veined with moss. The clock tower downtown chimed once. 3004. The alley walls breathed. Not a metaphor. Concrete pulsed inward, exhaled a damp reek of soil and copper. My palm scraped moss. It writhed, tendrils clinging like wet hair. A street lamp flickered at the alley's end, though none existed on this street. The gate slammed shut behind me. No, it's still there, open, I told myself, but when I turned, brick swallowed the exit. Solid. Weeping condensation. Footsteps ahead. Not mine. Too slow, syncopated. A shadow stretched toward me, head lolling. Cold teeth bit my wrist. The frost again, but black now, creeping from my fingernails. When I flexed my hand, the tendons glinted, metallic. Wrong. Downtown chimed a second time. 3004. A door materialized to the left, my own scratched red paint. The peephole clouded. Inside, dishes clattered. A laugh I'd rehearsed for polite phone calls. You're still outside, aren't you? The peephole darkened. An eye pressed against it, unblinking. Blue. Like mine. Not mine. Drops of ice slid down my neck. My reflection's breath fogged the glass from within. Knock, it mouthed. My knuckles hovered, trembling. Inside, my kitchen, but warped. Table legs elongated, chairs sprouting rusted nails where cushions should be. The clatter of dishes became skittering, chitinous. My reflection stood by the sink, back to me, its shoulders hitched in a rhythm that wasn't breathing. My left hand spasmed. The frost gnawed past the wrist, joints clicking with the sound of a rewinding cassette. Temporary, I thought wildly. Hysteria. Sleep deprivation. But the floorboards creaked under my weight with a pitch I knew from childhood. The reflection turned, its face, my face, rippled, pupils swallowed by quicksilver. "You've been here before, behind the walls, under the floor." It stepped closer. The ceiling dripped black syrup where its shadow fell. My teeth ached. I reached for the doorframe, but the wood fused to my fingertips, grain swirling into fingerprints. Across the alley, the flickering street lamp revealed a figure splayed limp as a puppet, head tilted too far back. The reflection sighed. "See how the edges blur?" Something yawned open beneath my ribs, a hollow, echoing with the wet scrape of shovels digging. The reflection's smile split too wide, teeth glinting like broken glass. I tried to pull free, but the doorframe clung, a wet, organic suck. My breath hitched. The frozen hand pulsed now, a second heartbeat throbbing in the ice. The kitchen walls puckered, plaster swelling like blistered skin. I felt the cold climb into my elbow, bones singing a tuneless hymn. Run. Scream. Wake up. But my legs were roots, sinew braided with the damp wood beneath the floor. Inside, a crawl space clotted with moths and old newspapers dated October 12, 1993. My birthday. Headlines blurred as the moths surged out, wings brushing my cheeks with the grease of unwashed hair. The street lamp flickered, and in the intervals of darkness the puppet figure stood closer each time, now at the window, now in the hall, its neck bent at that impossible angle. The key glinted. Light bulbs burst one by one down the hallway. The child's cries sharpened, became my own. The key, that key, rusted and jagged, hung from the puppet's limp hand. Its joints creaked like warped floorboards as it raised the metal toward me. My reflection whispered, "You remember how the lock clicks, how the soil gives." The cold reached my shoulder now, 1,000 threads stitching me to the walls. Frozen hand, heavy as a brick of ice, twitched. Mine, not mine, and I tasted copper, sharp, like licking a battery. The moths returned, but their wings made a new sound paper, not wings, obituaries, death notices, all those cut-out names. Dates circled in red. 1993. 1993. The puppet's jaw dropped, slack, and the hole in my ribs ached, quaking with the phantom weight of a shovel's handle. "What's under the house?" my reflection murmured. No, not a question, a command. Dark sludge oozed from the ceiling, tangling in my hair. Sticky sweet rot stench. The puppet's key pressed into my working palm. Not cold, warm. "Turn it," said the puppet, its voice crawling with static, like a record played backward. The keyhole bloomed in the center of my sternum, edges raw and glistening. Moths swarmed the wound. Outside, sirens or screams stretched thin. The floorboards split, groaning, and below, a pit. Small, lined with tiny finger bones piled like matchsticks. A dented locket cracked open, my childhood photo grinning up through the rot. The reflection touched my cheek. Its skin left frost patterns. "Dig," it mouthed. Beneath the bones something shifted, breathed, knocked. My hands moved without me. Fingers clawed at the bone pile, splinters gouging crescents into my nails. The thing below knocked again, 3 slow, wet thuds. The locket's chain coiled around my wrist, cold and alive. My photo's grin widened in the corner of my vision, teeth blackening. "Turn the key," hissed the moths, their wings now whispering in my mother's voice. Dirt filled my mouth. Older. Grit from under the porch where the dog stopped barking in 93. The key in my chest twisted, a rusted screw-grinding bone. A child's mitten surfaced in the bones, wool rotted to webs. Mine. I'd lost it the day the men came with shovels, their boots tracking mud over Mother's good rug. The pit sighed. A breath rose damp, mildewed, and the finger bones trembled, aligning into arrows pointing deeper. My reflection's frost crept down my throat, numbing the words. The puppet swayed on its strings, hollowed-out eyes fixed on the ceiling. The sludge there hardened into shapes, hooks, hands, a cradle. Shadows pooled in my joints. Something brushed my ankle, not the knocking thing, smaller, warmer, a second hand rising to meet mine.